Las Vegas seems to have a curse on large-scale hotel casino projects. From Fontainebleau to Echelon, billion-dollar dreams were collapsing one after another. But few remember another ghost. The building that swallowed hundreds of millions of dollars led to massive lawsuits and sat abandoned on the Strip for nearly a decade. That's the Harmon, the most expensive haunted hotel in Vegas. Once hailed as the crown jewel of the city center project, the Harmon was built with the ambition of becoming a new symbol of luxury and perfection. However, instead of becoming a wonder, it turned into a bitter lesson that when a city is built on illusions, its collapse is only a matter of time. And now, as the new icons of Vegas begin to crack, the Harmon returns, not as a memory, but as a final warning to the entire city. In today's video, join us as we explore the story of the Harmon, a $279 million dream that was never opened, and the final terrifying warning it left for all of Las Vegas. In 2004, Las Vegas held the grandest dream in its history, to build a Manhattan in the desert. A landmark like a miniature city where light, technology, and luxury blend together, is expected to redefine the future of Vegas. But more than a decade later, all that remains is a glass tomb. Magnificent, cold, and haunting. 11 years ago, MGM Mirage announced City Center, a $9.1 billion mega project hailed as the future of Vegas and the largest private project in US history. City Center is not just a resort. It's a self-contained ecosystem where hotels, apartments, shopping centers, and entertainment venues are connected by the common language of luxury, technology, and high-end aesthetics. At the heart of that dream, the Harmon Hotel and Residences is considered the crown jewel of City Center. Not an independent hotel, Harmon is a strategic piece nestled between Bellagio and Monte Carlo, two of the most luxurious icons on the Las Vegas Strip. Its location was chosen not only for its land value, but for its symbolism, placing Vegas's most modern building between two traditional monuments as an affirmation that a new era of prosperity has begun. The Harmon was designed to be 49 stories tall, comprising 400 luxury hotel rooms and 207 high-end apartments. The building caters to the new upper class, young, successful individuals who value absolute privacy and are willing to pay for personalized experiences. From private butlers, dedicated shuttle services, personal concierges, to personal shoppers. MGM calls this an exclusive launchpad into Vegas, where guests can sleep in glass, wake up in light, and experience Vegas not just through the sounds of slot machines, but through the city's reflection on the high-rise glass. As soon as sales opened, the 207 units at Harmon immediately created a sensation. The penthouses, priced up to $9 million, were quickly purchased, while real estate brokers called it the golden project of the decade. Each apartment is considered a part of modern Las Vegas history, symbolizing an era where Vegas was not just a place to spend money, but a place to assert status. The Harmon's construction site was once a symbol of speed and confidence. Every night, the light from thousands of industrial bulbs illuminates the entire Nevada desert sky. Over 8,000 workers work continuously 24/7, in a cycle that seems never-ending. With its colossal scale, City Center was recognized as the largest private project in the United States at the time, a testament to Las Vegas's aspiration for rebirth after the financial crisis. In its promotional campaign, MGM Mirage described the Harmon as the luxurious gateway to City Center, where guests could sleep in glass, wake up in light. From the published perspective, the tower appears like a giant blue crystal, reflecting the dazzling lights of Vegas at night. For MGM, the Harmon represents a strategic turning point, moving away from the city of gambling image toward an urban luxury hub model where people can live, work, and enjoy themselves in the same space. At that time, the CEO of MGM claimed that City Center would be a manifesto for the future of urban America. A place where Vegas would no longer be a symbol of sin, but a symbol of vision and creativity. In that vision, the Harmon was once likened to a precious jewel in Vegas's crown, a testament to the belief that the city could rise from the ashes, reborn through art, architecture, and luxurious experiences, not just through lights and slot machines. But then, its fate drifted in the opposite direction. Because while it shared the same bold aspirations as Wynn Las Vegas, which opened in a blaze of glory and global admiration, the Harmon never had that opportunity. Technical errors, rushed construction, and poor management have relegated the project to the shadows of history, leaving it behind as a monument to failure. All the once-burning expectations suddenly fell silent, as if the light Harmon had promised had never been lit. And that is the bitter paradox of Vegas, a city that shines brightly all night, yet is most clearly reflected in structures that are never illuminated. Las Vegas once dreamed of a future illuminated by glass and steel. That city believes that if it reaches high enough, it can escape the shadow of casinos and gambling to become a symbol of class, architecture, and vision. However, when too many dreams are placed on the same horizon, Vegas loses its very ability to reach them. Unlike Fontainebleau, which, despite setbacks, was eventually opened, the Harmon never had that opportunity. It was born to be the torch of revival for Vegas after the 2008 financial storm. But it ended up as a tower that was never lit. Not due to any conspiracy or natural disaster, but solely because of small technical errors, enough to suffocate a billion-dollar dream. The problem starts deep within the core of the project. When the Harmon reached the 22nd floor, site engineers inspecting the building discovered that the reinforcing steel bars, a crucial component determining the building's overall strength, were installed in the wrong positions and did not meet technical standards. This error didn't just happen once, it affected at least the first 15 floors. The load-bearing structure of the building is misaligned, significantly reducing safety if further construction continues. That seemingly small mistake actually threatened the entire stability of the tower. Immediately after the incident was confirmed, MGM Mirage, now MGM Resorts International, was forced to halt all construction. The structural report shows that the building cannot withstand any more floors. The giant machines silently stopped working. Thousands of workers silently left the construction site, leaving behind a dust-covered building in the heart of the bustling Las Vegas Strip. Operating, material, and labor costs became money buried in concrete, unrecoverable. In an effort to salvage the project, MGM decided to reduce the building's height from 49 stories to 28 stories and eliminate all residential apartments, which were expected to generate the highest profits. However, as structural risk assessments continued to reveal new uncertainties, MGM had no choice but to declare the project permanently halted. Externally, the Harmon is still completely glass enclosed to maintain the image for the overall city centre, but internally, it's just an empty shell. No electrical systems, no interior, not a single room is finished. By 2010, MGM officially confirmed the Harmon as a total loss, with estimated damages of $279 million, an amount equivalent to wiping out the entire initial investment. The media at the time called Harmon the unlivable 79 million building. An article described, "The Harmon stood like a ghost, glass shimmering outside, decay within. Outside, the glass still sparkles, reflecting the desert lights, while inside lies desolation, decay, and disappointment." While City Center was touted as the future of Vegas, the Harmon became a symbol of greed and mismanagement, a major crack in investor and public confidence. But the painful truth is, technical glitches are just the tip of the iceberg. What caused Harmon to fall even deeper was the culture of chasing deadlines and appearances, where everyone wanted a more grand opening rather than a solid foundation. Vegas believed at the time that with enough light and reflective glass, they could hide any cracks. But Harmon exposed the truth. The city of illusions was creating its own illusion. Although that tower never collapsed, it still collapsed on paper. Technically, legally, and in terms of trust. Vegas didn't just lose a building, it lost a piece of its soul. A dream built on shaky foundations finally became a glass testament, silently reflecting the arrogance of a bygone era. Is it possible that sometimes buildings don't need to collapse for people to realize something was wrong from the foundation? And if Vegas, the city built on dreams and light, can also collapse in silence, how many other Harmons are there around us, just waiting for a small crack to reveal the truth? There are symbols that do not collapse because of technical errors, but because the times around them are fractured. The Harmon, sparkling glass block in the heart of Las Vegas, is one of them. When construction stopped, the city not only lost a building, but also lost faith that Vegas could be reborn after every crisis. Because shortly after the wrong steel bars were discovered, another storm hit not from the construction site, but from the 2008 global financial crisis, the earthquake that shook the US economy and knocked down the financial heart of Las Vegas. During 2008-2010, Las Vegas experienced its worst recession since the Great Depression of the 1930s. According to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, 2010, Nevada's construction industry lost more than 90,000 jobs, equivalent to more than 50% of the total workforce in the industry. The statewide unemployment rate exceeded 14% in October 2010, the highest level in Nevada's modern history. Roads, once filled with material trucks, are now empty, cranes are stationary, and dozens of unfinished structures become concrete scars in the middle of the desert. Vegas's artery tourism also plummeted. Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority's LVCVA 2010 annual report shows that tourist arrivals decreased from 39.2 million 2007 to 36.4 million 2009. A decrease of 7.2%, equivalent to nearly 3 million visitors, disappeared in just 2 years. Hotel room revenue plummeted 16%, while the average occupancy rate fell to just 81.5%, the lowest since 1993. For a city that lives on lights and party nights, it's like having electricity unplugged in the middle of a performance. In the midst of that scene, the Harmon appears as an honest mirror of the times. Outside, the glass still reflects light from neighboring resorts in the city center complex, creating the feeling of a city in operation. But inside, it is an empty block, with no people, no sound, no life. Local residents said that every night they saw lights reflecting on the surface of the building, and it seemed like there were still people living inside. But in reality, it was just an illusion of light, something Vegas used to cover its own darkness. In later years, Harmon became a wordless symbol of illusion. The city used to believe that it could save itself with monumental projects, glass, steel, and architecture, but in the end it was those things that exposed the void inside not only of a building, but of the whole. The economy relies on debt and expectations. Economic experts from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV Center for Business and Economic Research 2012, commented, "City Center is proof of how Las Vegas expanded so quickly during the financial bubble period. And Harmon is symbol of that blind confidence." When most of the other projects in City Center, like Aria, Vidara, or Crystals, are still open to existence, Harmon stands alone, a ghost tower amidst the light, as if Vegas is looking at its own shadow. By 2015, it was completely dismantled, leaving only the foundations and photographs in urban memory. But its shadow remains, reminding that the Vegas light has never been immune to the darkness of greed and illusion. Today, large corporations like Hilton and Marriott that have seen Vegas' ups and downs have changed direction, focusing on sustainable development models, reducing debt, increasing risk control, and investing in real experiences instead of flashy images. Some experts call it the only positive legacy that the Harmon left behind. lessons about awakening after a period of blindness to growth. Is the Harmon just a personal wound for city centre, or a mirror for an entire America, where belief in prosperity has exceeded the ability of the economy itself to support? And if a city that was once the brightest in the world can also crumble in silence, then perhaps the scariest thing is not when the light goes out, but when it is still bright. But no one believes in the light anymore. Not all collapses come from concrete and steel. Some crumbled in silence, in the trust, fame and prestige that an entire empire took decades to build. With MGM Resorts International, the Harmon's demise was not just a $279 million loss, but an honorable wound, the moment the whole of Las Vegas had to look at itself in the cracked mirror. When the Harmon was officially declared irretrievable, the most painful thing was the image it left behind. On the Las Vegas Strip, where everything is set up to shine, Harmon stands silently like a stain among the most splendid symbols. Just steps away are Aria, Crystals and Vidara, the same resorts under City Center, still operating with a brilliant aura. But among that complex, Harmon became a ghost building in the middle of a living city, a symbol of what Vegas always tries to hide under neon lights: mistakes, greed, and loss of vision. The legal battle between MGM Resorts and Perini Building Company, the project's main contractor, deepened the reputation wound. In a Clark County court filing, 2014, MGM accused Perini of miscarriage of engineering, reporting fraud and falsification of inspection records, while Perini countered that MGM sought to blame to evade payment of $500 million USD. The lawsuit lasted more than 5 years, costing tens of millions of dollars in legal fees, raising the question, how could a corporation once considered the standard for operating a high-end resort lose control? The media does not miss opportunities. The New York Times called Harmon a $100 million tower that never opens, and Reuters described it as "Weck, a valuable lesson in arrogance in the American construction industry." Every article, every newsletter is a cut into the perfect image that MGM has worked so hard to build. And for a city that lives on fame like Vegas, losing credibility is not just losing money, is losing the trust of the whole world. The Harmon incident also caused international investors to falter. According to CBRE's 2011 Commercial Real Estate Investment Report, foreign capital flows into Las Vegas decreased by nearly 42% in just 1 year after City Center encountered a crisis. Investment funds from the Middle East and Europe, which once viewed Vegas as a profit paradise, began to withdraw or shift towards more stable markets such as Miami and Austin. Vegas, once considered a lab of wealth, has now become a symbol of risk and excessive exaggeration. But the strongest blow comes not from investors, but from the people of Las Vegas themselves. Many local residents consider Harmon to be open wound in the heart of the city, where thousands of workers used to sweat around the clock. Now only empty glass blocks look back at their tired faces. An anonymous engineer shared in an interview with Las Vegas Review Journal, 2015. "We put pride in that project. But then Vegas made us realize that here, reputation is as crackable as concrete." To save its image, MGM has implemented a series of brand restructuring measures. They partnered with Hilton Worldwide to upgrade operating standards and reposition the resort's image in the post-crisis era. Hilton later developed the Hilton CleanStay standard set and the Sustainable Luxury Infrastructure model, focusing on sustainability, risk management, and transparency in construction, a direction considered the most practical response to Harmon's legacy of failure. Yet, no matter how many new projects are opened, Harmon's shadow is still there. Not in the Vegas sky, but in the memory of the American construction industry. It reminds that a tower may take several years to erect, but it only takes a small crack in trust to pull the whole empire down. Is the Harmon just MGM's own stumble, or a warning to an entire America racing in the eternal illusion of perfection? And if reputation can collapse just because of an incomplete project, when will we rebuild the trust from a truly solid foundation? After years of controversy, litigation and cost struggles, Clark County Court allowed MGM Resorts International to completely dismantle the Harmon Tower by the end of 2014 at an estimated demolition cost $11.5 million due to Controlled Demolition Inc. The company used to take down many famous structures in the US. According to technical records, the project was dissolved floor by floor without the use of explosives due to concerns about affecting adjacent buildings in the city center complex, worth $9 billion. The images recorded at that time were haunting. Workers cut each beam, the glass wall was lowered one by one, and behind that shiny layer of material was a hollow concrete block, never installed interior, never welcomed a single guest. In an interview with the Las Vegas Review-Journal, 2015, an engineer involved in the project said, "It took us 7 years to build it up and only 11 months to wipe it out. But the heavier thing is the feeling of dismantling trust." The building is considered the largest industrial scar in modern Las Vegas history. Because Harmon is not just a failure of a project, but a symbol of an era that believes light can obscure darkness. When MGM decided to dismantle the project, many people in the architectural and investment world saw it as a confession that the dream of redefining Vegas had officially disbanded. Wall Street Journal, 2015, describes that scene in a short line. The Harmon fell without ever standing tall. Harmon collapses, though never really stands. But this cancellation is not just symbolic. According to MGM Resorts Annual Report 2016, the dismantling of Harmon and the consequent loss settlement reduced the group's net asset value by 2.3%. In that fiscal year at the same time, they were forced to sell part of their shares in City Center to partner Infinity World Development, investment fund under Dubai Holding, to maintain liquidity. This self-buried blow made it take MGM nearly a decade to recover its financial image and, more importantly, investor confidence. Still, in that darkness there was another glimmer of light. From the ruins of Harmon, MGM began to rebuild a culture of risk management. The group then partnered with Hilton Worldwide Holdings to implement the new Sustainable Design Initiative, SDI standard, which focuses on transparency in construction processes, independent accreditation, and investment in surveillance technology safety. SDI itself later became an important part of the projects of Hilton, Marriott, and many other corporations, as evidence that lessons from Harmon were engraved throughout the industry. Is the Harmon just a tower erased from the map? Or is it a warning written in concrete and glass that every empire, no matter how brilliant, can collapse in silence? And if a building that has never opened can leave such a long shadow, then is what makes Vegas tremble the most not the collapse, but the emptiness behind the light. When Vegas builds the Harmon, they believe they are building a icon, the new light that will help the city step out of the shadow of the past. But when the lights went out, Vegas lost not only a tower, but also the belief that glamour could last forever. Harmon, with its sparkling glass and hollow heart, is now not just an architectural ruin, but a final warning that even empires built with fame and ambition can collapse just because of a small crack in confidence. From that rubble, Vegas is forced to relearn the lesson of the truth that light cannot exist without the foundation of trust. Corporations like Hilton or Marriott now invest not only in luxury, but in sustainability and transparency. Projects are independently accredited, processes are closely monitored, and most importantly, people, the true foundation of every dream. If a city built on light can also wither in silence, then perhaps the scariest thing is not when Vegas falls, but when it is still bright, but no one believes in that light anymore. If you have ever witnessed a broken dream in real life, please share your feelings under the comments section. Don't forget to tap like, subscribe, and share this video to join us in continuing to explore the stories behind America's seemingly immortal symbols. The content in the video, the Harmon's 279 nominals collapse just sent Vegas its final warning, is compiled from a variety of journalistic sources, public records, and official documents, including reports by Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, LVCVA, Clark County Court Records, The Wall Street Journal, Reuters, and Las Vegas Review-Journal. Any figures, citations, and information used for the purpose of analysis, reflection, and public education is not intended to attribute, accuse, or judge any person or entity. Some details can be restated in a cinematic storytelling style to serve the audience experience, but still ensure honesty with the nature of the event. This video does not represent the views of any of the organizations, agencies, or businesses in question. Viewers should self-assess and compare information before drawing conclusions.